We're back here on the program, The Platform, and today we are talking about the life and times of Reverend Dr. Charles C. Smith, his legacy as well. And the testimonials in this book are written by some people who are no longer with us.
That's right.
Jacqueline Smith, Reverend Dr. Miles Monroe.
That's right. He did the foreword.
He did the foreword. And then I see Archdeacon William Thompson.
That's right. He came to the memorial service.
Yes.
In 2000, because that's when he died.
We've lost some great Bahamians, some great clergy men in this country.
We have.
But looking through this book, you are the daughter of a hero of Bain and Grandstown. Indeed, a gentleman from Long Key. Some people call it Fortune Island.
That's right.
Mr. Samuel Glasgow Williams.
That's right.
Who was a building contractor.
He was. Built churches, schools, right throughout the Bahama Islands.
Yes.
And I don't know if St. David's down there in Long Key. I don't know if he helped to even build that one.
Okay.
But that was his church down in Long Key.
And your homestead is still on the corner of West and Wellington
Streets. It is now occupied by the Salvation Army family from the Meadow Street Salvation Army.
It's still a beautiful residence.
They're taking good care of it. That's why I think Carlton wanted to make sure that anybody passing there after Daddy died, Mother died, would still be able to look at it and see that's the homestead that was there all those years.
Outstanding your family was, but let's talk about family life. Because that is very important. Not only was it important then, it's important today.
Very much so.
You yourself, you develop a fantastic family. You have some ministers in your family. Your son Clifford is
3 of them. He is Southside Christian Ministries on Carmichael Road. Then there's Benjamin. Benjamin is in the Hilton Hotel.
Okay.
He's going to move from there to another location, but he travels a lot. And what's good about Ben, he not only ministers to English-speaking Bahamians, what have you, but at 5 o'clock every Sunday afternoon he has a Spanish.
Okay.
He ministers in Spanish to those Spanish persons, you know, who are members of his church.
Very good. And your son Clifford went to Calabar, followed the footsteps of his father as well.
Followed the footsteps of his father, and even went to Southern Baptist Seminary in Louisville, where Charles received his master's.
Right.
He is now, if you want to give him the full title, he is now the Reverend Dr. Charles Clifford Smith III.
The third.
All right, my husband was the second.
Right.
All right, so Clifford now has all of his fathers except the OBE.
Okay. And your husband, as I said earlier on, was a powerful preacher, as is Clifford. Because I've heard Clifford on numerous occasions in Zion and other places, and he is a great pulpiteer.
Even on TV, he used to be on Channel 12.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they're following Joe. That's the second one. He does part-time ministry. He's not full-time like Clifford and Ben. Okay. But. You have Macarios. He's more with the music ministry.
Okay, good.
Okay.
But back to your childhood and your family life. You've had a rich family life. The legacy of the Williams family is extremely rich. Not only in St. Agnes and Bain Town, but your brothers Carlton and Kendrick, and all the rest of them. Yes.
Edward is still at St. Agnes. He plays his saxophone during the 7 o'clock mass. He goes out. Whenever I attend, I go at 10:30.
Okay.
I'm not an early person, but Edward is still there. Rodney is very active in Holy Trinity. Okay.
So you are Baplican.
Huh?
You are that's half Baptist and half Anglican. Huh?
To a certain extent. Not in the full extent of it.
What I see in this book too is that the friends of Reverend Dr. Charles Smith were many. He ordained a whole lot of people to ministry, and some of them are in this book. His friends, like the Reverend Dr. Michael C. Simonet,
that's right.
Who was a very close friend of Charles Smith.
That's right.
You almost donated, well, you donated several pages to that friendship, eh?
Well, yes, you know, because he and Dr. Simonet served in the Baptist convention.
Yes.
He was president and Simonet was the executive secretary.
Right.
And then they used to travel quite a bit with the National Baptist Convention in the States. Or wherever we went, he and his wife Hilda joined us in travels. I've really enjoyed being a part of the ministry, and persons like that helped to make it even more interesting and all that for me. So
it was a rich ministry that you enjoyed along with your husband.
Very much so.
And then in this book too, you have quite a number of people who contributed to the ministry who are in the family of islands.
Yes. In Grand Bahama, there's Reverend Wellington Pender. He died. He was the moderator. But you still have there. His son, Michael, is now in charge of the church where he pastored, Upper Zion,
right,
in Pender's Point. Reverend Peter Pender is in Freeport. Unfortunately, his church burnt several years ago. He's still trying to rebuild, but he is one of those pastors there who was also very, very active and still is.
Yes.
You know, he's they still keep the Grand Bahama Convention side of it going.
On the western wall of Zion on East and Shirley Street right now, there is a plaque. It is a plaque in honor and tribute to your husband.
Yes, the Reverend T.G. Morrison.
Yes, he is still very much revered as one of the leaders of Zion. Zion goes back 180 years.
180, that's right.
Yes, but
right.
For those 29 powerful years that your husband spent in Zion really changed Zion, as you said earlier on.
Yes, well, like you say, with Reverend Sands, he was out of the Methodist faith. And so the sort of charismatic side of the Baptist faith did not become strong until Charles took over. Because you see, he was reared in a Baptist church all his life. Ebenezer in Dumfries. It's still there. Reverend Ambrose is the pastor now. But Charles really brought, I would say, a lot of life.
Yes.
To Zion, and all the different format of the service.
Yes.
All right, with Clifford and Ben, who were in music.
Yes.
Because they helped a great deal in the music at Zion when he was there.
You mentioned that your father had a great voice, but Charles C. Smith also had a very beautiful tenor.
Very beautiful.
I remember him singing at the end of the year, I think it was in 1998, when he sang spare me another year, O Lord.
Oh.
I remember that very vividly.
Yes, sir.
And I said to myself, what a melodious tenor voice that he had.
And he wrote a lot of music. In this book, you will see a chapter devoted called Charles the Musician. Okay? He wrote just about all of our conferences. Whatever the theme was, the scriptural text, he would formulate a song that would go along. What's that? I can't remember the specific one, but there were so many of them. I really can't remember. But he wrote his own music. He was good. He played by ear, and all of my boys, the 5 of them, they either sing. They don't need to learn to be taught. Mark plays that saxophone by ear.
Is that right?
Okay, and so they were. He was very musical, and he taught the boys. You know.
Clifford plays the organ by music.
That's right. And Benjamin.
Yes.
Oh, Ben is a little bit more, even more, I don't know.
Jazzy on the keyboard, eh?
Yes, sir.
Your family life has been, as I said, rich indeed. You know, because Charles Smith Reverend Dr. Charles Smith accomplished so much, people thought that he was much older than 59.
Yes, well, he behaved in that way. And his friends were much older than he was.
Yes.
All of H.W. Brown, A.S. Colebrook, Dr. Cooper, those were the persons he dealt with, okay? Of course, he was, I think at that time, Charles was like the youngest of those Baptist ministers.
Yes.
Okay, and so he worked along with them, and we always said that even though he was only, like you say, 50 or 59.
And he passed, yes.
No. It was as though he was much older.
Absolutely. You know, you said that there are some sermons in this book. And I believe that every person who knew him knew that he was a powerful preacher. And it's good that you were able to include some of his sermons here. But you also said, I believe, that that he had written or was in the process of writing some books when he died.
Yes, there was a book, it's called My Bahama Papa. He was going to, he had started it. And to this day, we don't know what happened with the, with that book that he started.
Okay.
We couldn't find it anywhere. It just got either misplaced or what have you, but we were not able to find it, and maybe wherever he had started to try to complete it. But he was going to do My Bahama Papa, and then the sequel to that, My Bahama Mama. All right? And like I said, he never got a chance to do his biography, and that's what really led me to get this book going. I know I couldn't do it by myself because I only met him in 1956, 57, when I went down to technical school. That's when school used to begin in January and end in December.
Okay. You did a fantastic job, Jacqueline Smith, on this book. And that is why it is as, if you see the size of the book.
It weighs 5 pounds.
It weighs 5 pounds.
Yes.
Yes, and I am going to I'm going to enjoy this because you have encapsulated 59 years, some beautiful years of a Baptist minister in this book.
Well, one of his teachers is still alive, Justice Strawn.
Yes.
From Kent Island. You'd see his right up here about Charles.
Yes.
Bishop Tewton Stubbs, unfortunately, he died the other day. I was only able to show him this book before he died. I went by the house and showed it to him, but you know, he was very ill at the time, and he passed. Edna Russell.
Yes.
Edna wrote a very nice thing about her relationship with him. Reverend Emmett Ware. Okay, Reverend Dr. Emmett Ware did, Dr. Philip Ramming, and the list goes on. Right. Bishop Bennaby, like I say, so many of them have died.
Yes, a whole lot of them have.
Who are in this book.
Yes. Well, I thank you so very much for taking the time to come here today. And how can you get a copy of this book?
Either by calling me at 364-2040, or it's at the Bible Book and Gift Center in Palmdale.
Very good.
All right, they have it there.
Very good.
All right.
Well, it's a treat for not only Baptists, but Bahamians everywhere, because the Reverend Dr. Charles Smith was a true Bahamian icon in the truest sense of the term. And we thank you so very much for being here today, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching and listening to our program today. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.